Do you want us to send that to you?
Sure. Yeah, I can take care of that down at the office. Would that need to be turned in before another court date, or would that just set everything?
So what happens is we give them up to 2 weeks to pay it. If they say they can pay immediately, we give them up to 2 weeks to pay it. If they don't pay it within those 2 weeks, they get charged a $200 fine.
Who is your
And
witness?
get placed back on the calendar for failure to pay.
Okay.
If they need longer, we can give them up to 6 months to pay it, but usually if they say within 2 weeks, we just hold them to that.
Yeah, I think we should be good, and we just turn the paperwork at that time.
He has an unusual name. Okay.
Yes, so you're going to turn in the plea paperwork,
We'll get started once he's
Turn
done.
it.
with your turn.
receive it, and then I don't know how he plans on paying, if he plans on coming down there, if he plans on paying it online or however it's done. That payment needs to be made within the 2-week time frame.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I can put my email in the chat. It's just jason@sperlinglawgroup.com.
Señor Montealvo, les van a mandar todos los documentos a su abogado para que usted los firme. El documento donde se va a declarar y que hay enmendado el cargo a alterar el orden público, y también el contrato de que se compromete a pagar en 2 semanas. Necesita pagar eso a más tardar en 2 semanas, porque si no le van a dar un desacato, una orden de desacato, y le van a cobrar $200 más y va a tener que ir enfrente de nuevo al juez. Si necesita más tiempo, déjele saber a su abogado para que entonces lo pongan bajo libertad vigilada. Pero su abogado va a recibir los documentos y luego se va a comunicar con usted para esto. ¿Ok? Lo puede pagar en persona o lo puede pagar en línea, si le dan una liga para que se meta en línea, pero su abogado le va a decir eso.
Ok, no, yo lo voy a ir a pagar a la oficina.
I am going to go and pay it at the courthouse.
Okay, that's fine. Ida, could you just instruct him to, before he does that, to go ahead and make sure that his lawyers have returned the paperwork, because we have to amend the charge on the paperwork. If he goes and pays it before that, it's going to be paid as the previous list charge.
Ok, señor Montalvo, muy importante que se mantenga en comunicación con su abogado, porque primero su abogado tiene que recibir los papeles, usted los tiene que firmar y ellos lo tienen que mandar al tribunal para que se pueda enmendar el cargo a un cargo menor. Si usted va y paga sin que eso se haga, entonces va a estar pagando y se declara al cargo que tenía de disparar el arma de fuego. Entonces, espere que su abogado le indique cuándo tiene todo listo para que usted vaya a pagar la multa, para que así vaya a pagar y paga por el cargo enmendado. ¿Entendió?
Sí, entonces tengo que esperar que el abogado me llame, que ya tenga los papeles, y ya teniendo los papeles yo voy a pagar.
Okay, so then I have to wait until my attorney gets in touch with me or calls me so that he has the paperwork, and then he tells me, and then I can go and pay.
That is correct.
Eso es correcto. Espere que su abogado le indique eso.
Ok, está bien.
Okay,
Was there
that's
anything
fine.
else?
If that's all we need, that should be good for us.
All right, so you guys can go ahead and disengage. We'll look for that payment within 2 weeks.
Terrific.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Ok, señor Montalvo, ya se puede retirar y con tal y pague a más tardar en 2 semanas, todo va a estar bien. Que su abogado le indique cuándo, ¿ok?
Ándale, gracias.
Ok, thank you.
Thank you.
No
You're
worries.
welcome.
Let me ask, because I think that was Officer Moriarty's case. Do you have any more on the calendar?
Yes, it is. For sure.
Yeah, I see another one. So can't release you just yet, Moriarty. We have one more. We'll see what the announcement is on that one in just a second. All right, so Mr. Stinson, because he's got a gazillion on here. Let's go ahead and knock his out.
Okay, give me a second. He just walked out in the hallway.
Oh, Lord. I ain't got that kind of time. All right, so
He's coming.
Miss Ida, have we identified anybody else who may need interpretation services?
Hold on, I think I had one here. Oh, the first one, Alvarez Vasquez Alejandro on page 1. I don't know if he does or not.
That's Mr. Stinson's case.
Or maybe he doesn't, but I mean, we'll find out from him then.
Okay. He speaks.
And let's see, and then there was, I don't know if this witness might need one. It's on page 5. The witness on McDaniels Charles. I mean, it says Pedro Lucase. I don't know if that might need an interpreter.
Is he here? We're not gonna have a trial, so the witness can be excused on that.
Page 5.
Page 5 on the top, McDaniel Charles is the defendant. You don't have him?
Well, mine is on page 4, so I got.
Oh, okay. I mean, it says witness Pedro Lucasa. I don't know if that could be one that could need my services.
Okay, so let's do this. Mr. Stinson, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
All right, let's go through your list. So you got the first one on the first page, Alvarez, Vasquez. What are we doing with that case?
That's gonna be a plea.
Okay.
Does he
And-
need an interpreter, Mr. Stinson?
He does not.
Okay, thank you.
All right. And then we have Robbie Berry.
Is she on the Zoom?
She is.
Okay. What did I do with Miss Berry? Here.
Well, she was.
We're, Andres, this was a case, I don't even know if I spoke with you about it. This is a DUI drugs case.
Mhm.
But there's no, it's actually a DUI drugs less safe, but there's no test result and there's no DUI investigation on this.
Well, we
Yeah.
did not speak about it. And it's on for a trial this morning. I have Officer Thicklin on here, so I guess we can get that explained if you want to move forward on that. Do you want to just reset it so maybe we can talk about it?
Yeah, well, our decision is gonna depend a lot on if there's a test result and if what the investigation says, so.
Okay,
until-
so we'll reset that one so you and I can circle back and see.
Yeah.
What we, all right. Then you have Dante Bradford.
Mr. Bradford on the call?
Do we have any Bradfords in the waiting room?
I don't see him. However, I do have 2 phones that are unidentified.
Okay,
Okay.
we'll just hold on that one.
Well, my announcement, I'll make the announcement now. I've sent him a couple of letters to the address I have in his file. They both have been returned. I've called and left him a message. The last number that he gave me, when I left him a message with that, the answering message was that this was Dante Bradford's phone, and I left him a message and he has not returned my call.
Okay. All right, we'll circle back up on that one to see if he may be online, otherwise it'll just be a FTA. All right, so then we have Demond Campbell.
That will be a plea this morning.
Okay. And then we have Nia Daniel.
Miss Daniel, is she online?
Baker case?
It was it was sent to me.
Yeah.
We're going to need body cam on that. The issue is that we believe there was no implied consent read, because there was no test done. She was taken to Clayton County where they typically draw blood.
Mhm.
And there's, in the report, it does not indicate that implied consent was read, a test was requested, or blood was drawn.
All right, so you want to reset that one?
Yeah, we need to find the status of that report.
Okay. All right, so then we jump down to Jakeem Howard.
She is on plea. This one, we're also going to, let me see, Thicklin is here, tires. If is Officer Thicklin, I'd actually want to speak to him today. Because my client is advising that prior to Officer Thicklin's arrival on the scene of this disabled vehicle, that another officer from another department was there and instructed everybody at the scene besides my client to leave the scene. And we need to confirm the validity of that and if Officer Thicklin knows the identity of that officer. My client believes that that officer spoke with Officer Thicklin before he left the scene.
Okay, Thickman is on the Zoom. I don't know how you guys would communicate in reference to that.
Well,
particular-
I can either give him my number or I can go, I have my Zoom set up here as well. So I could probably get into a private chat with him.
Okay, so we're gonna schedule that for a breakout room for you guys to go in there and talk. And then we'll just hold on that report. Then I have Quadarius Jones.
Mr. Jones is going to be a plea.
Okay.
He is, I don't know if he's still having problems signing on. He just texted me a few minutes ago. So I'm not sure. Let me grab my phone real quick. Okay, there's Mr. Jones right here. So I anticipate that's going to be a plea this morning.
Okay. All right, and then I have Charles McDaniel.
Mr. McDaniel is in the courtroom. What did I do with his file? Again, we got the accident report on this, but we didn't get a DUI report or test results.
All right, so you want to reset it for the
Yeah.
discussion? Okay. And then we have Marquise Mitchell.
Is Mr. Mitchell on? Do we have Mr. Mitchell on?
Yes, he's on.
Okay, this one was DUI marijuana. And we don't have test results on the marijuana that was also a possession of marijuana charge or test results on his blood.
Okay, so you want to reset for that discussion?
Yes.
All right. Then we got Larry Simpson.
Larry Simpson, I'd like a pretrial with you on that.
Okay,
And I anticipate that's going to be a plea this morning.
all right, and then the last one I've shown for you, Sherry Smith.
And Miss Smith has 2 charges and I have left her file on my desk. I believe we verified, if you can give me what's the date of the citation?
Offense date is May 9th of 2022.
And do you have a time there?
Actually looking at the
I
citation.
have it on me.
Because we provided insurance to the court yesterday. And Miss Andrea verified that the policy went into effect, and I believe it was May 9th at 3:36. So it might be a roadside
6 AM, PM?
3:56 PM.
PM. Okay, so this stop was May 9th at 5:10 according to the citation.
PM?
Yes,
All right, so it looks like the valid insurance, so we just have the loitering charge to deal with.
I don't have a loitering charge.
You don't have a loitering case? Okay, then I guess,
Sherry Smith, am I missing something, Miss Yates or Miss Green?
Stand by.
Because I only have one
it's a
ticket.
separate incident.
Oh, was it a different date?
Yes,
Okay, so hold on a second. Let me see if I have that listed separately. No, it looks like I only got that one ticket.
okay, then we, considering we provided insurance that was verified prior to the stop time, we'd ask for a motion to dismiss on that one.
Ms. Yates, you guys have that information to put with the file?
In reference to the insurance?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, then that will be null pros.
And if Miss Smith is on the call, can she be excused?
Yes.
Sherry Smith,
Mhm,
I'm gonna bring her in
okay,
and then
Ms. Smith?
Her audio hadn't connected yet.
Okay. How's that with the little bars going up and
Mhm.
down? Neat. Yeah, I knew this was gonna be a good idea to be right here.
He must not know how to do it.
While we're waiting on that, Miss Yates or Miss Green, I don't have on my list of Miss Yates' second email, the 2 of 2. I don't have any paperwork for Mr. Alvarez Vasquez.
Okay.
I'm missing, unless I'm missing an email here, because you only sent, I got 1 of 1 and then, 1 of 2 and then 2 of 2. Was there a follow-up to that?
No.
Okay,
She was having some problems because the file was too large, so that may have been something going on with that.
Okay.
But we have Miss Smith online now.
all right, so Ms. Smith,
Yes, sir.
your attorney is in court. We just went through your matter. He has verified that you had coverage about 2 hours prior to being stopped. We have that in the file. The case is being dismissed against you. Mr. Simpson, was there any need that you wanted her to hang around for? Did you?
No,
Right.
she's free to go.
All right, so Ms. Smith, you can go ahead and disengage. Just if you have any other questions, you can contact your attorney, and I'm sure he'll fill you in.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, bye-bye.
Solicitor,
Yes.
were there court-appointed attorney fees associated with this case?
On Ms. Smith?
Smith, yes.
Yes. Yeah, so we're gonna have to forward her that's right. I forgot that Mr. Simpson, because he has a private practice also. I didn't know if that was court appointed or not.
I think at this point, she's only obligated to pay the $50 application fee
Okay.
or whatever.
That to her, and I guess Mr. Simpson, if you can explain that to her next time you speak.
I will.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't want her to think she's getting a fine when we dismiss the case. So we're just waiting to do a plea on Mr. Vasquez, and I'm trying to get his history so I can.
Okay.
Sure that
Well,
this-
if you want to give me a few minutes, I will go over the rights forms with each of these. I have 3 pleas set up.
Yeah, actually, if you could do that, then we can go ahead and call the calendar, see who's here, see who's not, see what trials we may have, and then we'll come back to you, Mr. Simpson.
All righty.
Okay, so Ms. Green, we have a number of people who are in the courtroom, is that correct?
That is correct.
Do we have more in the courtroom than we do online?
No, because most of them are Stinson's people.
The ones in the courtroom are mostly,
Most of them are, but we
Okay.
do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe. The rest of you are Stinson, right? So 5 in the courtroom.
okay. Can we get those people, the 5 in the courtroom, to come up individually?
Sure.
Way we can figure out how we're going to move forward.
Ma'am, you.
And Andreas, I believe there is another attorney in the waiting room as well.
Is there? Okay, can we put that person in, let them in real quick? Figure out who they are?
So we have, I'm sorry, say your name again.
Michelle Hill.
Hill, Michelle Hill.
Ms. Hill, let me find you on my calendar.
That's Moriarty's case.
Okay. Ms. Hill, you got a ticket for window tint. What is your plea to that charge, ma'am?
Not guilty, sir.
You said what?
Not guilty, sir.
Not guilty. All right, Ms. Hill, we're gonna be resetting your case for a trial. Not guilty. Can you turn your plea sheet in there to Ms. Green? Make sure that you have an email address so we can forward it to you, and then once you've done that, you're free to go, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
You can-
And the attorney is in.
thought I saw Miss Edmonds. There you go.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
Good. Miss Edmonds, who you have on here?
I have Mr. Robert Pullins.
Mr. Pullins. All right, so you guys have withdrawn on that case.
So we filed a motion to withdraw, but I don't believe it's been 10 days yet.
Okay, that's fine. We're gonna reset him. 10 days will expire, and then we'll just have him come back either with new counsel or with no counsel, just depending on how he wants to proceed.
Okay, and just so that I can tell him, is that going to be like a bench trial date or an arraignment date?
It will be, we'll rearrange him since he had counsel, and we're gonna
Okay.
give him time to do it, so we'll rearrange him. And if he hires somebody else, but we'll send the email to him directly. Do you have an email address for him?
I do, but I tried to send an email to it yesterday and it bounced back. So I don't have a valid one, I'm afraid. But if you could send me a copy of it, I can make sure he gets it. I mean, if he, if we're able to work something out and stay on the case, that way we have that as well.
Okay. Well, I'll send it to you. We'll verify that he's even on the Zoom. I'll send it to you, and then we'll try to get another one from him. I don't want to hold you accountable for the new court date if you're not going to be representing him after you already filed a withdrawal. So we'll forward it to you in case things work out and you're still representing him, but we'll try to make sure we send one to him or his address that we have on file.
Sure. That sounds great. All right. Thank you guys so much.
Bye-bye. So on Pullins, is he here? Do we know if he's there?
He was on the line, but like I have two phones that are unidentified.
Okay. Do we have an address that we can email a new court notice to him?
I have an address that I can mail to him. I'm not sure about an email address at this point.
Okay. So the physical address, we'll send it to him. And if we can forward Miss Edmonds that reset also, just so that she can have, that way we cover both bases. All right.
Okay.
And so Miss Yolanda, who do we have here?
Raquel Madison.
Madison. All right, Miss Madison, you were charged with unlawful use of a wireless device. What is your plea to that charge?
My plea to the charge is not guilty, but I was wanting to also see if I can have it dismissed. My name is not spelled correctly and the date of the citation is incorrect.
No, ma'am, that typographical error would not be a grounds for dismissal, so we're going to reset you to come back to court for your trial. Can you make sure that you leave your not guilty plea sheet with Miss Green there, and if you could include an email address so that we can forward you your next court date, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Next, we have
Chris Reeves.
Mr. Reeves. Mr. Reeves, I'm sure you've heard this before, and you look like a gentleman of a certain age. Did people call you Superman when you were younger?
Oh, yes. I heard it all the way through school.
All right, so you were charged with failure to yield a right of way. What is your plea to that, sir?
Not guilty, and I'd like to talk to the solicitor.
I am the solicitor. What do you want to talk about?
So I when I got this ticket, I got hit pulling out of my job. It's right there on Forest Parkway, which is Del Monte, if you know where it is, across the street from the farmers market. I was pulling into the median there where the turn, it's got the turn, so I could go to the left, and I got hit from the side. And then as soon as I got hit, all 7 of the people in the van jumped out and ran down the highway and left me sitting there on the side of the road. And I just don't understand how I got the ticket, because I didn't do anything wrong. They said I pulled out in front of them whenever I got hit in the actual median.
Yeah, so here's the thing, this failure to yield a right-of-way ticket is basically what we call a strict liability type charge. In other words, anybody who is in the main road, the main lane of travel, if somebody's coming off onto that road, they have a duty to yield to oncoming traffic. Doesn't matter if that oncoming traffic is speeding, if it's going too slow. So if you're merging onto a main road and based on that merging, you get hit, you fail to yield. It's the same concept of getting onto a road that has a yield sign on there. In this case, there was no yield sign, but it's the same concept. The main road is the main lane of travel, and everybody who's already in that main lane of travel has priority.
He wasn't in the road. He wasn't in the travel. He himself was also in the median and literally went as I pulled into the median. So he himself was not in the travel line.
But the officer would not be able to determine that based on the way that the accident occurred, right?
You can go through, you could tell from the accident where I got hit. So I got pictures and stuff of it too.
And Mr. Reeves, what I'll do is I'll reserve that argument for a trial because now you're giving me facts that would be heard by the judge. Okay. So we have you down for a not guilty and we're going to reset you for the trial.
Okay.
You did mention something about everybody got out. They left the vehicle there. Yeah. Nobody was there in the vehicle. Okay.
Yeah, seven people jumped out of the van and ran down the highway.
So the likelihood of those folks showing up for a trial is probably slim to none. So
they never claimed it on insurance or anything.
Okay. We will reset you for a trial. And if you could just leave your not guilty plea sheet there with Ms. Yates, I'm sorry, Ms. Green. And if you can put down an email address so we can contact you about it, okay?
So I have to change of address for my license.
Okay, well.
Write it down there.
Yes, thank you. Ma'am. This is Miss Victoria Solomon, and she does have a witness that is online waiting.
Miss Solomon.
Hey, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. So this is was this an accident? This wasn't an accident, was it, Miss Solomon?
No, sir, it wasn't. I was proceeding through the light and it was yellow and I was right in the middle. So I don't speed. I went through the light and I'm looking because the police officer that pulled me over was on the other side of the road. And I already saw her because I live in this area and I saw the police car. And didn't matter as far as I was just being cautious. And I thought, okay, I'm right here in the middle of the yellow light. I'll go, through it. And I was looking the whole time because, you were like, okay, don't let it turn. And it was yellow all the way under when I went under it.
Okay.
But I kept proceeding down the road.
Well, so before you get into any more of the facts, Ms. Solomon, I'm assuming that you're pleading not guilty.
Yes, sir, I am.
All right. So you can go ahead and turn in your not guilty plea. We're going to make sure that you have your trial. You can make sure that your witness logs back on at that point. The officer will be prepared to move forward with the case.
Yes, sir.
And the reason I stopped you is because I don't want you to give me more information that I need.
I got you. I understand.
So go ahead and
I'm not talking to the judge today, right?
No, you're not. You're not. I'm the prosecutor. So if you can just drop that off with Ms. Green there, we will give you a new court date and we will email you that information if you can continue, put your email on that form. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right,
Hey,
thank
thank you.
Officer Moriarty, you're good to go. I'm sorry, I see your hand raised there.
All right, thank you very much.
I'm bringing in her witness just to let her know that is it a male?
It's a male.
It's a male.
Mr. Verma?
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Solomon's case is being set for a trial. If you can, she will contact you and let you know what that court date is, and you can log back on Zoom on that date, okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
What's your name, sir? Robbins. We have Mr. Robbins here. Aaron Robbins.
All right, Mr. Robbins, we have 3 charges here. What is your plea to those offenses, sir?
I plead no load.
All right, let's verify that Mr. Robbins is eligible for the no load.
Yes, he is.
Okay. And can you give me the fine amounts individually on that?
One moment.
Ida, you said that you had identified one additional person that may be?
Well, as a witness on a case, I don't know if it need interpreter or not, but it's on. I think,
Stinson's case, wasn't it?
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
we're still waiting for him to come back so we can deal with his people.
Okay. It's. I think you had it. You said you had it on page 4.
Okay.
Okay, so the failure to maintain insurance, that's 585. Suspended, canceled, revoked registration, 760. And change of address, 135. Total amount 1480.
Thank you for not making me do the math, Ms. Yates.
You're welcome.
1880, because you know I might mess it up. All right, so Mr. Robbins, the total fine amount on all 3 of your citations is $1,480. Are you able to pay that within 2 weeks, or do you need longer?
I need longer, sir. As a matter of fact, sir, my plea might not have been clear because I live in a veteran house on the license charge where it don't match my address. Okay.
Oh, okay. So I'm sorry. Say that again. You're living where?
The charge of my driver license address not matching my home address.
You stated that you're living in a veteran's
House, yes, home, yes, sir.
Okay, okay. And do you have that license with you now?
Yes,
Can you provide a copy of that to Mrs. Green right there in the courtroom?
yes, yes,
If
sir.
that's the case, then we will dismiss the change of address on there. And then that would reduce your fine amount from 1480 to 1345.
So you're saying this address is the veteran's home?
No,
Or
no,
that's your home address?
that's my home address.
Okay.
And
All right, so the total amount, we're dismissing that charge, sir. The total amount of the fine is 1345. You need more than 2 weeks to pay that, correct?
yes, sir, and sir, I
Yes.
also have insurance. I had my insurance at the time that I was stopped, and I didn't have a copy of it, but I have insurance also.
All right, so we would have to verify that you had coverage the date. Now, you remember, so this insurance charge that you have and the suspended registration is based off of insurance.
Right,
When we call your insurance company, they're gonna have to state that when you got this ticket, December 9th of 2022, that you had insurance on the date that you got the ticket, and for the suspended, cancel, or revoke registration, that you didn't have a lapse in coverage for a year prior to that date.
okay,
Do you understand that?
yes, sir.
All right, so we're gonna call them. If you want to just have a seat, we can call them and verify that you had coverage on the date that you got stopped and for a year prior to that.
I don't understand.
Hmm?
I don't understand.
Okay, so what he's saying is, do you have a copy of your insurance? I'm gonna call and verify that you had coverage at the exact time of the stop. Were you allowed to purchase insurance before you left? When you got stopped,
Yeah, yes, yeah.
were you allowed to purchase insurance before you left the scene? Did the officer allow you to purchase insurance? When you were stopped, what happened?
I didn't have, okay, they called to
Okay.
try to verify the
Okay,
insurance, but they never got insurance, but he had, he parked the truck.
okay,
This-
let me get
this
your
is the
insurance.
registration.
Okay, I need your insurance information.
And Ms. Green, we can just call up whoever's.
That's it. The rest of the people in here, Stinson cases.
All right, so let's jump on the people on Zoom.
Okay.
So we can let everybody in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you're logging on to Zoom, please make sure that your devices are placed on mute and that your cameras are on. Please make sure that your devices are placed on mute and that your cameras are on. Please make sure that your cameras are on mute and that your, that your microphones are on mute and that your cameras are on.
Mr. Mary Rose, do you want me to ask?
Yes, please, Ms. Ida.
Okay. Buenos días. ¿Hay alguna persona que necesite la asistencia de un intérprete?
Everybody else, if you're on this Zoom, please make sure your microphones are on mute and your cameras are on. Do not ask any questions. Just make sure that your microphones are on mute.
Asegúrese, por favor, de que los micrófonos están apagados y su cámara está prendida. ¿Hay alguna persona aquí en esta llamada de Zoom que necesite intérprete? Por favor, déjenos saber ahora. ¿Se encuentra presente el señor Pedro Lucase? Okay, I guess there is no one that needs me, Mr. Mary Rose.
I have an Alejandro Alvarez, but that's
That's Mr. Stinson, and he said that Mr. Alvarez spoke English. You want me to make sure?
Yes, please.
Señor Álvarez, sé que su abogado es el señor Stinson. ¿Usted necesita la asistencia de un intérprete o usted habla inglés bien? Señor Álvarez, por favor, contéstenos. Señor Álvarez Vázquez Alejandro, ¿necesita intérprete o no?
He's hooked up to audio, so I don't know. I can't hear.
Okay.
Got his ear up to the phone as if he can't hear anything if it's on mute. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a Zoom session for the Municipal Court of Forest Park. Again, the instructions for you are please make sure that your microphones are on mute and that your cameras are on during this Zoom session. Please allot for 2 to 3 hours to be on this Zoom session while we work through these cases. If you are in a vehicle, the vehicle cannot be driven. If you're a passenger, that's okay, but you cannot be driving while you're on this Zoom session because it is unsafe to do so. Also, make sure that you're appropriately dressed while you are in this session, meaning that you can't have anything on while you're on the Zoom session that you could not wear if you were physically in court. So that means that no covers, no hats on your heads. If you have on a hoodie, no hoodies on your head. Do not do any drinking, smoking, or eating while we're on the Zoom session. And if you are in a location, please be stationary as much as possible, because while you're moving around, everybody can see what's going on in the background around you, and it is a distraction to the court. Let me do this. We're going to go through and I'm going to call the names as I see them on this particular Zoom. When I speak to you by calling your name, please unmute your device, respond. Once we're done talking, you can place yourself back on mute, or I'll give you instructions on how to proceed after our conversation. First, let's start by having everybody who's on the Zoom enter their email and their name into the chat. So go ahead and please enter your email address and your name in the chat so that we know who we're speaking to and we know how to communicate with you after this Zoom session is over with. Also, if you have a device and that device does not indicate your name on that device, please change your device and put your name on there so that we know who we're talking to.
Mr. Mary Rose, you want me to make another announcement?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Okay. ¿Hay alguna persona que necesite intérprete? Por favor, déjenos saber. Okay.
We may want to reach out to Mr. Stinson. I don't think Mr. Alvarez knows how to operate his device.
Ok, señor Álvarez, puede activar el micrófono y dejarnos saber si necesita intérprete o no, por favor. Active el micrófono de su... Ajá.
You can hear me?
Sí, yes, we can hear you. So you don't need an interpreter.
No, no ocupo intérprete. Aquí sí entiendo el inglés. Lo hablo.
Okay, he just said in Spanish that he doesn't need an interpreter, Mr. Mary Rose.
Okay.
Ya
Okay.
lo tuve en inglés.
Okay. So,
Mr. Alvarez, place your
Okay,
microphone
gracias.
back on mute. Mr. Alvarez, place your
Okay.
microphone back on mute. And I also
Okay.
need you to turn your camera on. So was that it, Miss Ida?
yeah, that was it because nobody else answered, and I don't see anybody with the name of the witness that I have on the list. So,
Okay. Well, you can go ahead and disengage. and
okay, I'll see you this afternoon.
One. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So has everybody placed their, it looks like they have. I have one person with a Samsung device, SMT227U. Sir, can you change that device to your name?
He's not gonna be able to hear us. His audio is not connected. I've been sending him chat. I think that's Mr. Pullins. I'm not sure.
Mr. Pullen. Oh, that was the gentleman that Miss Edmonds was on for.
Correct.
Okay. All right, so we'll come back to him. All right. So I'm gonna try to do this in the most expeditious manner that I can. So I see Mr. Moore, you're a witness for Kadarius Jones, is that correct? Mr. Moore? Your device is on mute. There you go, sir.
Not necessarily for him. I was supposed to be, my paper said be a witness for the city of Forest Park against.
Oh, okay. I just noticed that you have him here. Let me see where Mr. Jones.
That's a Stinson case.
So that's actually put down as a plea. His attorney has announced that that's going to be a plea, Mr. Moore. So we don't have to hold you on here any longer. If you want to go ahead and disengage any other communications that we need to forward to you, the court will contact you, okay?
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, so then I have Zachary just jumped up. Yes, Zachary Portis. Mr. Portis?
Yes.
Let me find you here on my calendar, Mr. Portis. All right, this was an accident, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, and do we have an Everett Hill or an Asia Wyatt?
Mr. Hill is on the line.
Where's Mr. Hill at? Oh, there you go. Zachary Portis. All right. So Mr. Hill, this case is going to be reset for Mr. Portis. Mr. Portis, I'm assuming that you're still sticking with your not guilty plea. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. So we're going to reset this case for your trial. Mr. Hill, we will send out a new subpoena in reference to the trial date to your address. Can you hear me, Mr. Hill? You still have your microphone on mute.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to send out a new subpoena for the trial on Mr. Portis's case. Once you receive that, you can just log back in. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right, so you're free to go. And
All
Mr.
right, thank
Portis, you did put your email into the chat, correct?
Yes, I did. I can re-enter it if you would like.
Let me just verify. Okay, no, I see it. We got it right here. So you can go ahead and disengage. We'll send out your court date for your trial, okay?
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, this is stop.
So now I have Mr. Carlos Simmons. Mr. Simmons, yours is a red speed.
Yes, sir.
School zone camera. Is Mr. Simmons on a different calendar for me? Or do I have the red speed?
He's red speed, so he's not gonna be on any calendar. We can
Okay.
email you the packet from Red Speed.
Well, so that red speed ticket is gonna have to be reset, so we're gonna have to give Mr. Simmons a new court date.
Okay.
So Mr. Simmons, we're going to, did you put your email into the chat? Yep, I got you. Carlos
Yes,
Simmons.
sir. Yes, sir.
We're gonna reset you and give you a new court date for your trial on that school zone camera ticket. So you can just go ahead and disengage, okay?
Yes, sir. Can I give any kind of comments on like what happened that day?
That would be for your trial. You don't want to give any facts of the case prior to that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so we'll see you, you'll receive your new court date via email and we'll see you back on that day.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so then Miss Berry. Robbie Berry.
Yes, yes, sir.
All right, Miss Berry, let me locate you here real quick.
Stinson case.
All right, that's a Stinson case. So Miss Berry, just actually, I've already talked to your attorney. That case is being reset. So he'll get in contact with you in reference to it. Just make sure you stay in contact with your attorney. Okay.
Okay, I wasn't able to do my email because my screen is cracked.
Okay. Tell me what your email address is, Miss Berry.
Robbie Berry, same as my name, ROBBIEBERRY 17@gmail.com.
Okay, we have it here. We will email you the information, but we're also going to have your attorney. He's going to have that information also. So just stay in contact with him. Okay.
Thank you kindly, sir.
You're welcome.
I can hang up now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right. So then I have William Manderville.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Mr. Manderville, good morning. All right.
Yes.
So your plea to that charge is what, Mr. Manderville?
Not guilty.
All right. And Mr. Manderville, did you put your email into the chat? I do have it here. William Manderville is 1wmanderville@gmail.com, correct?
Yes, yes, sir.
All right, we're going to reset you. You're going to
Yes.
receive a new notice for your court via email. So you can go ahead and disengage right now, okay?
Yes, and I will be able to do another Zoom, correct?
Yes. Yeah, you'll receive an email for a Zoom trial.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Yes, okay, sir.
thank you. Mhm.
Thank you.
And so then I have Miss Howard.
Yes, sir.
Find you here, Miss Howard. All right. So Miss Howard, that is your attorney Stinson and I still have to talk about your case. So if you can just stand by, hold on for a little while, we'll come back.
Okay.
Mr. Solicitor, Officer Thicklin, we're having some difficulties communicating. So he's coming into the department and we'll talk here at the court.
Okay, so you want me to hold her? Or do you want to reset?
Yeah. Well, we're gonna, let's go ahead and reset it based on what the officer tells me. I'm gonna need to get some additional information one way or the other.
Okay, so Miss Howard, we're going to reset your matter so that your attorney can talk to the officer in that case. And you did put your email into the chat, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I do see it here. So you can go ahead and disengage, just keep in touch with your attorney.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, so then it looks like I have Mr. Mitchell. Marquise Mitchell.
He's a DUI drugs. We're resetting him to get, we have no reports.
All right, so Mr. Mitchell, your case is being reset. Did you put your email into the chat, Mr. Mitchell?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay, so I got you here. And you are free to go. Just keep in touch with your attorney, okay?
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. All right, so then I have Shakirus Manning.
Officer.
Witness for witness regarding McDaniel.
Hello.
That was a witness regarding McDaniel.
And did we get to McDaniel already?
That's a Stinson case.
Okay, so I'm sorry.
I believe
Miss-
it's going to be reset.
Yeah, Miss Manning, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, looks like I don't know if you're frozen or, there you go, it was frozen. We got you now. That case is being reset, so we're gonna send you out a notice when it comes back on the calendar for a Zoom.
I have a question.
Yes.
How many times is this case is gonna be reset? Because I have other things I have to do.
Okay.
And this is like been almost 2 years. Like, this is ridiculous.
Yes, ma'am. The wheels of justice turn slowly, so that's all I can tell you. We're gonna send you out a new court date for a reset date. It's up to you whether you want to appear or not, but it will be a Zoom.
Okay. And how long will that be?
I'm not sure, it just depends on the availability in the system. So the system generates the new court dates.
All right.
All right, so you can go ahead and disengage and just look out for that email.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so let me jump back up to the top of my screen where I have Mr. Ross, Calvin Ross.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Ross. Mr. Ross, this was an accident, the following too close, is that correct?
Yes.
What is your plea to that charge?
I pleaded not guilty, but I wanted to see if we could probably work a deal or something. I can stop having to call off work for court.
Let me ask you, Mr. Ross, this was back in 2021. Was there a claim filed against your insurance company for the damages?
No. Yeah, I don't even know.
Okay, driver citation. Let's see. All right, so here's what we can do. Is there a Ms. Yates or Ms. Green, can you tell me about Mr. Reeves?
I'm gonna mute my mic again.
No, you're good for right now. Do we have any information on Mr. Reeves, Ms. Yates or Ms. Green?
I sent out letters. I haven't heard anything.
Okay. All right. So here's what I can do, Mr. Ross. I can amend the charge to what's called a basic rules violation, so it's not reported on your driving history. You would have a fine. That fine would be $150, but you would get no points, and it would not be reported. If that's what you want to do, that way you don't have to come back here. It would be a guilty plea,
Yeah.
because it's not reported. Guilty does not register on your driving history.
Yeah, that sounds like a fair deal.
Okay, so Mr. Ross, did you put your email into the chat?
Yes, I put it into the chat.
All right, I got you here. So we're gonna send you an email with the amended charge of basic rules violation. You're gonna respond to that email by signing off, stating that you're pleading guilty to the offense and you're gonna pay a fine of $150. Can you pay that within 2 weeks or do you need longer?
I paid today.
All right, so we're gonna put you down for 2 weeks. You can pay it anytime between now and that 2 weeks is up. But just look out for that email. Make sure that you send that email back as soon as possible, because before you go and pay it, we have to amend the charge so that you're not pleading to the original charge, okay?
Okay.
All right,
And
so go ahead and disengage and just take care of that payment within 2 weeks and you'll be fine.
And do you have any type of contact that I could method I can contact y'all on if I don't get the email? Because I've been trying to contact Ford Park, but it's like I can never get in contact with anybody in the office because the phone is always disconnected.
Okay, our number changed. Do you have pen and paper so that you can write down our phone number?
Yes, ma'am.
Or better yet, I'll send it to you in a chat. Just don't log off just yet, okay? I'll send our phone number. And if you can avoid coming to make payment today, that would be great because we still have a second session of court.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, I didn't mention.
It's
that. So
okay.
making the payment, for anybody who's on here, making a payment would exclude doing it today because they are in court all day long and cannot take any payments.
Okay, perfect.
All right, so if you can just hang on, Mr. Ross and look for the email from Ms. Yates for the number that you can contact, but we will also contact you via email. And you can contact us back that way too, okay? Once you get that
Okay.
information from Ms. Yates, and you can go ahead and log off.
Okay, so the number is what she text, the 366-4720.
Yes, that's the number.
Okay,
If no one
perfect. Well,
answers,
good. Thank-
leave a message and we will call you back.
Okay,
All right.
okay, so thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
You're welcome.
So the only
Solicitor,
other person that I have on here for the Zoom is Mr. Alvarez, which is standing by for Mr. Stinson.
can I make a statement?
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Robbins. Mr. Robbins with the insurance.
Uh-huh.
He's stating that he has insurance. However, he cannot provide coverage right now. He's changed insurance companies. So if it's okay, can we reset him for him to get his proper documentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right.
Also, a solicitor, can Officer Doss be excused?
Yes, I'm at the point where I think that everybody can be excused because we've handled everybody, and all the people that are left for Mr. Stinson have either been reset or they're entering pleas.
Okay.
Because we don't have anybody else in the courtroom that doesn't belong to Mr. Stinson, correct?
That's correct.
So all
All
the
right.
others can be excused.
Andre, I still need to talk with you about Mr. Simpson.
Yes, yeah. All right. So can you just throw us in the breakout room on Mr. Stinson, Mr. Simpson?
Yes.
Hey, on that.
You all have been assigned to room 2.
Okay, on that one case, well, okay, let me go in there.
Attorney Stinson,
Yes.
you've been assigned to room 2.
Okay, I will.
All right, so Mr. Stinson's going to talk to his client briefly, and then we're gonna.
Okay.
Would
Yeah,
y'all
I'm
do?
still here. You can hear me?
Yes, Mr. Alvarez, just stand by. Your attorney's going to come back and speak to you shortly, okay? What did y'all do with Miss Payton?
She's here.
She sure is quiet.
I'm here. Hey.
Hey, sound like you lost your voice.
I feel like crap.
She's a working woman, honey.
Oh, you had a event last night? Well, make that money.
Y'all got your own IT.
We do. First off.
Just as an FYI, I have a calendar call in Henry County in front of Judge Lewis at 1:30, so I may be conducting my portion of the first 30 minutes of the 1 o'clock from my car.
Okay.
Okay.
Bishop.
All right. We're live.
We have a judge?
No judge. We have the solicitor, but he stepped away. Judge is not here, well, this morning.
Okay, then we're gonna have an issue with Mr. Campbell.
Well, somebody stopped my video.
That was me.
Ms. Yates, what you say that was there something going on indecent or something?
Well, I didn't know. And I thought, never mind.
Saw the back of an empty chair.
I'm feeding my dog, and I don't want you to see how greedy he is.
We gotta see him. Okay, after court, can you hold him up to the camera so we can see
I
him?
sure will. What's going on, Mr. Stinson?
With Mr. Campbell, my understanding is that Officer Gladman doesn't work here anymore. And this matter is on a trial calendar, and I believe he was subpoenaed to be here today. We would ask the judge, if we had one, to dismiss for one of prosecution. I believe you're gonna have some counter motion, but I think we need to, for the record, have a judge rule on it.
Yeah, so this case actually was supposed to be bound over for Mr. Gladman to appear in state court. And
Well, since we don't have a judge, Mr. Campbell, come on up here. I explained to Mr. Campbell the legal process that was going to ensue in front of the judge. There's not going to be a judge available this morning. Okay. So if we want to oppose the city's motion to send it over to the state court, we'd have to come back another time. Now, I'm going to legally advise you, the likelihood is the judge is going to allow the city to just bind it over, because as we discussed, each of us has the absolute right to request that it be sent to state court. Are you okay with them just sending it to state court?
Oh, yes.
Okay, all right, so we're all settled there. We're not going to oppose the bind over request of the city.
Okay, all right, so we will put that down, the bind over. He will receive his next court date from the state court of
complete address
County,
on there as well.
and he no longer has to appear in our jurisdiction.
No address.
Yeah, because it's getting bound over.
Okay, and then we're ready to go on Mr. Simpson, Mr. Alvarez, and Mr. Jones.
All right, so on Mr. Alvarez, this is a DUI. Open container. Okay, so Madam Clerk, can you give me the fine amounts on these tickets? Because I know my calendar does not have the correct amount.
Hold on one moment.
Sure.
And if we could do Mr. Alvarez first, I know he's at work and.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm here.
Stand by, Mr. Alvarez. We're getting ready to handle your matter in just a second, okay?
All right.
You're good to go. And you're gonna be still representing him on the state level? You won't, okay.
Maybe not.
Okay.
That's yet to be determined.
Gotcha.
But that'll be Mr. Campbell's decision.
Gotcha.
I've explained to him that my representation doesn't transfer, and that he has the option to hire me privately or requesting court appointed at his first appearance.
Gotcha, thank you so much. And you're good to go. Oh, I'm not sure. We send this over to Clayton County State Court.
I
It
will
could be
send you
wrong.
an email later today and explain.
Thank
Yeah, I do.
And if you want to something dependent for the state court, do you do?
You do that there.
Okay, yes,
Thank you.
no problem.
Okay, so the motor vehicle colliding with object 165.
Okay.
Improper lane change 135. Possession of open alcohol container 185. And the DUI 1675. I have a total amount of 2160.
Actually, Mr. Marie Rose, that was the one that they charged him with. Isn't there the charge of striking a fixed object? The citation has that issued at or listed at 10.2-1.
The city ordinance?
Now, does that city ordinance about the same language as the state? Because the state code is talking about the duty of the driver once they strike a fixed object. It's not a crime to strike a fixed object in and of itself.
Oh, so the actual code. Let's see if I can pull it up here. All right, so the code section, no driver in any vehicle shall operate a vehicle in such a manner so as to collide with any object legally placed upon or adjacent to any street or highway. That's the city code.
Okay.
So that's where it's the 165, and it doesn't, of course, the state code doesn't make it a violation to strike. It's the duty that you have upon, but the city offense, you cannot strike.
All right, then we're prepared to go forward. This is his first in life DUI, so we'd be asking to get an app.
So it'd be the standard first. He'll have the affidavit of first conviction, MAD impact panel, drug and alcohol evaluation, 40 hours community service, credit for time served, and random tests and screens, no drugs or alcohol while in probated sentence.
And I've explained all that to him, and I've advised him of his rights, and he is waiving those to enter a guilty plea to the listed charges.
All right, so that will be the agreement between the city and the defense attorney. Mr. Alvarez speaks English, so he understands the terms. We are gonna forward Mr. Stinson a copy of the documents for you to sign off on and to return back to the court. And you'll be placed on probation for 12 months to allow you to take care of all of those things. Mr. Stinson, I don't have any issue with the terminating early if he completes everything before the 12-month probated sentence is up.
All righty.
All right, so Mr. Alvarez, you are free to disengage. Your attorney will contact you in reference to any further steps that are necessary, okay?
And just make sure you follow up with probation once they contact you.
Yes. Yeah, I heard. I understand.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks.
What do we have next?
I have Larry Simpson and Kadarius Jones. You can make the call.
Jones, okay, so Mr. Jones is the key for the DUI. Let me see if I can pull that one. Mr. Jones. Yeah, I don't have Mr. Jones' paperwork either. Miss Yates, were you able
I'll
to?
send it to you.
Yeah.
You have Mr. Simpson's paperwork?
Question. I guess I should have looked at that one.
I've sent them both just in case.
I do have Mr. Simpson's, but I haven't, right. So let's just jump to Mr. Simpson since I do have that. I'm still waiting on Mr. Jones to come through the email. Mr. Simpson. Okay, so Mr. Simpson, I believe, so your attorney and I had already retried this case and we made agreement to amend a couple of charges and enter a plea on one of the charges. Let me just go through this for the record. So the following two clauses is going to be amended to a basic rules violation. There's a fine of $150 on that. The expired or no license plate or tag decal, there's a fine of $135 on that. The failure to maintain insurance, he's entering a NOLO plea, that's a $600 fine. And the driving without a valid license is being amended to an expired license. That is a $600 fine. The total fine amount is $1,485. And your client is pleading guilty to everything but the failure to maintain insurance. That would be a NOLO.
Yeah, we could do it that way. I just marked NOLO on his plea sheet. I can amend that if necessary.
No. So we apply the NOLO to the failure to maintain insurance, and everything else we mark down as a guilty. So Mr. Simpson, in reference to the fine amount, do you need longer than 2 weeks to pay that?
We'd actually ask for the probation for counts 1, 2, and 3 to run consecutive for a total of 36 months, but allowing him to terminate upon satisfaction of the terms. He's currently reestablishing himself after being homeless for a while. So we want to give him the opportunity to successfully complete all of this.
Okay. Madam Clerk, did you get that?
I did.
Yes, I have it.
Okay. All right. Well, then that will be the agreement between the city and Mr. Simpson's counsel. So we have that information and he is free to go.
All right, good step over there with that gentleman.
This is for probation, starting this out and sign it. And
All right. So I was waiting.
And then there was one.
Email.
done, Dr. Zoom?
Yeah.
You can go on. Someone's always got to be first and someone's always got to be last.
All right. So we have Mr. Jones' paperwork now. This is DUI and following too close. Let me just verify. This is a first for him, correct?
They can be on the blurry. And then I figured out one time how to change my background to something really cool, and now I can't figure out how to get back to change it. I think I put a great big American flag waving in the background, and it was, because I often do these Zoom calls from my car, so.
And nothing wrong with that. I'm
Well,
surprised to see you today in person.
Well, given the case volume, it's just so much easier because I can have conversations with all of these people while he's doing breakout rooms with anybody else. And that way I could break out with him here. Technology is just.
It is. It could be a great thing, but when it's not working.
Yeah, it's a challenge, but I think in the big scheme of things, it's something that should not go away at all. Because I've literally been in 4 court sessions at one time.
Wow. Do you have an email address?
I do.
Okay, put that on it.
So I was actually in McDonough Municipal Court with a hearing in Henry State Court and hearing in Clayton State Court and one in Gilmer County.
What?
You were getting on.
You know,
Yeah.
it's 2 laptops, a cell phone and a tablet. And,
Yep, that's how we
but
operate.
I mean, the reality is if I hadn't have done that, one case would have been happening and 3 others would have had to have been rescheduled.
So you're good to go. Probation will be reaching out to you.
Okay, will it be by mail or email?
I think what they do is, I think that's in your text message, if I'm not mistaken. 251-605-8789. So yes, they will definitely be the ones to reach out to you next, okay?
Okay, if I don't hear nothing for like what, 2 weeks or so, just give you guys a call.
Yes, or you can call PPX probation. Hold on.
Okay, so we're ready to go on Mr. Jones.
Yes.
The fine amount, Madam Clerk, on that following too close is that
240.
240. And it's 1675 on the DUI, correct?
Okay. And he's only gonna need 12 months probation
In about 2 weeks, if you haven't heard from them. give us
and
a
an
call,
affidavit.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, so the agreement on Mr. Jones will read as such. It's gonna be 12 months probation. He's gonna get credit for the time served in jail, so there is no additional jail time. MAD impact panel evaluation, drug evaluation, drug and alcohol evaluation, treatment if required. No drugs or alcohol during the probated time. 40 hours community service and a certificate of first conviction. And that can terminate upon completion of all the requirements. The fine amount for the following too close is 240. Driving under the influence is 1,675 for a total fine amount of $1,915. That is the understanding between Mr. Stinson, the attorney for Mr. Jones, and the city.
That is,
Mr. Jones has already got his paperwork in reference to probation. I think I heard a discussion about that. Is that correct?
yeah, he'll get his paperwork just a minute.
All right. So unless Mr. Jones has any questions, then he is good to go.
All right. If we can step
Fill
right
this
over
out
here.
for me.
Was that it for you, Mr. Stinson?
That is it.
Well, appreciate your cooperation and patience.
No, that's good. Handle a whole bunch of business at one time. Yeah, I think I'm gonna